Earth is often treated as the boring element in many magic systems and power systems. Fire gets the glory, water gets the versatility, and lightning gets the speed. Earth is usually pushed aside for the big, slow brute of the team, who just throws giant rocks. But this is a massive mistake. When written correctly, Earth manipulation, or geokinesis, is arguably the most terrifying and overpowered element you can put in a story other than water. Controlling Earth is the ability to control the very battlefield your enemy is standing on. In this video, I'm going to break down everything you need to know to write a unique, Earth-based power system for your next manga, novel, or webtoon. First, what kind of characters use Earth-based powers? The element of Earth represents stubbornness, stability, history, and creation. Earth doesn't adapt to its container like water, and it does not consume everything in its path like fire. Earth is the immovable object that endures everything. Because of this, characters who wield Earth powers often reflect these psychological traits. They are usually stoic, grounded, and unwavering in their beliefs. Their power manifests as a perfect, impenetrable defense that matches the qualities of Earth. Consider the physical toll of the element. Earth is heavy. Controlling it wouldn't just be a mental exercise. It would require immense physical fortitude. Your users might be heavily muscled, not just from training, but because channeling the kinetic energy to lift a 10-ton boulder out of the ground takes a massive toll on their own skeletal structure. Every time they use their power, they're fighting gravity. But how do Earth users actually use their powers? If you've watched my video on writing magic power systems, you know about the access and source method. Let's apply that specifically to the Earth element. First, the access. How does the character trigger the power? Think about the physical nature of stone. What if they access their power through rhythm and stances? Earth manipulation could require deep, heavy martial arts rooted in perfect balance. If an enemy can sweep an Earth user's legs and break their physical connection to the ground, the power instantly turns off. Or, what if they access their Earth control through objects? Your characters might use heavy warhammers that allow them to control the ground with every strike, sending kinetic shockwaves into the Earth. You could even use familiars. A character might not be able to bend Earth themselves, but they are symbiotically bonded to an animal or beast that controls the Earth for them. Second, the source. What is the fuel behind your character's Earth powers? Moving tons of Earth requires astronomical energy. Where does it come from? The source of the power could be the environment. An Earth user fighting in an area with seismic energy may become stronger, with the power to cause earthquakes like a god, but if you lure them to an environment like a ship on the ocean, they become completely powerless. If you want the full access and source method, watch our video, The Ultimate Guide to Writing Magic and Power Systems. You could tie the elemental power to certain locations or environments. This hasn't been explored much, and would make for an interesting story. If the source is an external entity, your Earth users would have to make a pact or an agreement with a spirit or god that grants them the power to control Earth. If the source of power is genetic, Earth users in your world would pass down their abilities from generation to generation, continuing the bloodline of power in their family. To create your power system, just combine one access and one source. For example, they access their powers through seismic objects, combined with the source of power via consumables. You now have a society of hammer-wielding warriors who consume raw minerals to fuel the shockwaves of their weapons. Also, your world building has to reflect the nature of your Earth powers. Think about the reality of societal dynamics. If a portion of the population can casually control the very Earth itself, think about the economy. Earth users would essentially control the global market, simply because they could pull precious metals and gems straight out of the ground. Gold, diamonds, silver, and iron would lose their rarity if an Earth user could just sense them and bring them to the surface. To balance this, your world might have strict laws. Maybe it is a capital offense for an Earth user to extract gold without a government license. Maybe the ruling class heavily polices Earth users, forcing them to wear objects that limit their power so they don't bankrupt the country by flooding the market with rare minerals. What about architecture and war? In a world of Earth users, cities wouldn't take decades to build. A team of skilled users could pull an entire fortress out of the bedrock in an afternoon. Castles could be seamlessly carved from a single, continuous piece of stone, leaving no weak points or mortar for enemies to exploit. Armies would use Earth users as the ultimate siege weapons. Instead of building catapults, they would simply command their users to open a massive sinkhole beneath the enemy army, swallowing thousands of soldiers in an instant, and then closing the Earth back over them. This is the sheer, brutal reality of Earth powers. You have to ask yourself, how does the rest of the world survive against people who can weaponize the planet? Next, to make your Earth system stand out, you need to define what Earth actually is. Dirt and rocks are just the absolute baseline, but if you look at the real-world science of geology, the classifications for your power system write themselves. Next, figure out your classifications. There are sub-elements of Earth that you can introduce as distinct classes or fighting styles. First, there is sand. Sand is essentially pulverized rock. A character who controls sand doesn't fight like a traditional Earth user, they fight like a water user. Sand is fluid. It can slip through cracks, blind enemies, and act as a dense, shock-absorbing armor that wraps around the user's skin. A sand user is terrifying because they can suffocate you, filling your lungs with microscopic grains of rock until you drown on dry land. Second, there is crystal and glass. What happens when an earth user applies extreme friction and heat to sand? It becomes glass. Glass manipulation allows for invisible, razor-sharp projectiles that shatter on impact, leaving microscopic shrapnel inside an enemy. Crystal manipulation involves focusing on the geometric structures of minerals. Crystals can refract light, channel magical energy, or act as the sharpest blades in your power system. Third, metal. Metal is just highly refined earth. An advanced user who realizes that iron is a mineral could theoretically manipulate the refined metals of your world. In a modern or sci-fi setting, this makes them an absolute god. They could rip the weapons right out of their enemies' hands, crush vehicles like tin cans, or dismantle a skyscraper just by pulling the steel beams out of the concrete. Fourth, magma. This is where Earth crosses over into fire. By heavily vibrating and compressing the tectonic plates beneath them, a master-level user could generate so much underground friction that the rock melts into lava. When you build your system, decide if your characters can control all of these, or if they are locked into one specific subclass. A society entirely based around sand manipulation will look, fight, and think completely differently than an industrialized military empire that exclusively manipulates metal. Next, figure out the limits of earth powers. Fights involving earth powers are fundamentally different from fire or water. You aren't just dodging projectiles, you are fighting the environment. In combat, an earth user doesn't need to aim at you. They just need to manipulate the floor beneath your feet. They can turn solid stone into quicksand, trapping you up to your knees before hardening it back to solid rock, instantly shattering the bones in your body. They can create seismic tremors that ruin an opponent's balance, making martial arts or swordsmanship utterly useless. But this brings us to the Shatter Test, which is the process of testing your power system's logic to make sure it isn't completely broken. If an Earth user can open the ground and swallow people alive, why don't they just do that to every single villain instantly? Why do they ever lose? If you don't answer this question, your readers will notice the plot hole immediately. Establish a strict, unbreakable limitation. Here are a few ideas on limitations you can add to your Earth users. Option 1. The density rule. The harder and deeper the rock, the more time and energy it takes to move. Shifting topsoil is fast, but splitting solid bedrock takes several seconds of intense focus, giving the enemy plenty of time to move out of the way. Option 2. The proximity rule. Earth users must be physically touching the ground to manipulate it, and their influence only spreads outward in a certain radius. If an enemy gets airborne, or stands on a wooden platform, the Earth user loses their direct advantage. Option 3. The aura rule. In many manga, characters have a life force or aura. You can establish a rule that an opponent's internal energy naturally repels external manipulation, meaning you can't just crush the armor someone is wearing or the ground directly under their feet because their own aura acts as a protective shield against your power. You have to physically overpower them first. By adding these limitations into your world, you force your characters to get creative. They can't just win with a thought. They have to set traps, predict their enemies' movements, and use the terrain strategically. Next, figure out the consequences. A power system is only as good as the price the user pays for wielding it. What is the cost of moving the Earth? Because Earth is heavy, the cost could be tied to physical endurance and biological consequences. Let's imagine a consequence called mineral sickness or petrification. Every time a user channels their power to manipulate stone, small amounts of minerals seep into their bloodstream. If a beginner uses their power too much, their joints become stiff, their skin dries out, and they would suffer agonizing cramps. If a master overuses their power in a life or death battle, pushing far past their limits, the consequence is fatal. The calcium in their bones begins to overcalcify. Their skin hardens into actual stone. The ultimate sacrifice of an Earth user in your story could be them stopping a massive attack, saving their friends, but permanently turning into a stone statue in the process. This would create huge tension. The audience knows that every time the character uses a massive attack, they are literally gambling with their own humanity. It makes every fight feel dangerous. Next, choose your scaling and advanced techniques. How does your power system grow? You need a clear distinction between a novice and all the way to a legendary, mythic-level Earth user. At the beginner level, a user can barely lift a rock. They would rely on martial arts to kick and punch clods of dirt. It's highly physical, and they exhaust themselves quickly. At the intermediate level, Earth users stop throwing rocks and start shaping the battlefield. They build walls, create ramps, and learn to manipulate the density of the Earth, turning hard stone to soft mud and back again. At the master level, we introduce advanced techniques. This is your equivalent to an ultimate move or an awakened state. One master level technique could be sensing vibrations. By closing their eyes and placing their hands or bare feet on the ground, the user can feel the microscopic vibrations in the earth. This ability has been shown in Avatar: The Last Airbender. They can sense a heartbeat through a stone floor from a mile away. They can map out an entire underground cave system instantly. They become impossible to sneak up on, as the earth itself whispers the enemy's location to them. Another master-level technique could be compressing earth, taking a massive chunk of loose rock and using pure force to compress it down until it becomes a diamond-hard weapon. At the legendary level, the pinnacle of your world's history, the feats should be apocalyptic. A legendary user could alter the planet. They can trigger localized earthquakes, raise new islands out of the ocean, or alter the gravitational and magnetic fields of the minerals in a specific area. But what about the darkest, forbidden techniques? The abilities that get you banished from society? Think about biology. Humans are full of minerals. Our bones are made of calcium, iron, magnesium. A forbidden, dark arts earth technique could involve a user manipulating the calcium inside another living person's body, weakening their bones. They could shatter an opponent's skeleton from the inside out without ever touching them. This is a brutal, terrifying concept. And if you include something like this, it should be treated with absolute seriousness in your story. Lastly, giving your protagonist the edge. If your protagonist is an Earth user in a world where thousands of other characters use the exact same element, how do you make them stand out? Ideally, you'd give them a unique application of the rules. Perhaps everyone else in your world uses Earth for rigid, structural defense, but your protagonist learns to grind the Earth down into dust, using it like an abrasive smokescreen that shreds the enemy's lungs and eyes. Or maybe your protagonist has zero talent for lifting heavy rocks, so they focus entirely on internal manipulation. They absorb trace minerals into their own body to make their skin as hard as steel, functioning as an indestructible close-quarters brawler rather than a ranged magic user. The edge shouldn't break the rules you've set. It should just exploit a blind spot in how the rest of the world views the power system. In conclusion, to write an Earth-based power system, you have to respect the element. Establish the philosophy of your users: grounded, defensive, and enduring. Combine the access and source methods to build unique mechanics, whether it's consuming minerals or using heavy seismic tuning forks. Determine the societal impact of Earth users. How do cities, wars, and economies function when the ground itself is a weapon? Create your categories. Do Earth users control all types of Earth, or specific types like sand, metal, crystal, and glass? Figure out your limitations. Make the power heavy, make it cost physical stamina, and prevent the insta-kill plot holes. Next, create horrifying consequences for overusing the power, like the petrification of the user's own body. And finally, scale the powers from moving a simple rock to controlling devastating earthquakes. Earth is not the boring element. It's the element of absolute dominance. Treat it with the respect it deserves, and your readers will be completely hooked. If this video helped you, be sure to hit the like button and leave a comment below with what kind of Earth-based powers you're adding into your story. Also, if you want to get started writing your first one-shot manga, head over to mangascript.com to download the one-shot guide. It's a page-by-page breakdown of 3 high-quality manga one-shots, and it makes it 10 times easier to write your own script. And don't forget to join our Discord community. The link is in the description. It's a great place to share your world building and connect with fellow creators. Thanks for watching, and keep creating.